Is that, okay, you can see me. Good morning, beautiful people. Do you know what, actually, I will tell you. I feel like I haven't done one of these in ages. And recently, like the last couple of weeks, I just haven't been feeling like myself. And this morning I woke up and I was just like, who even am I?
Who the fuck are you?
I felt like I was losing my identity. And I think it's because I haven't done a nut butter review in like over a month. So obviously we're gonna rectify that later. And then I'll just feel back to my normal self, whatever that is. I mean, they don't call me the nut butter king for nothing, guys. Also, guys, in other news, other tough times, I've had to come to the conclusion, I've had to accept that persimmon, Sharon fruit, whatever you want to call them, season has come to an end, and I'm very depressed about it. I think this year, I enjoyed persimmon season more than I ever have in my life. Like, I went to town on the persimmon. You have no idea. I was eating like 10 every day, and I actually started to go orange because of all of the beta carotene. It got to the point where like someone at my gym was like, have you been on vacation? Like, have you been on holiday? Because I actually looked orange. And with this blonde hair, it was not a look. So yeah, that's kind of all the bad news over, but I've got to share with you. Good news is that we've got a full day of delicious bomb meals coming up. I know what I'm gonna make for breakfast, and I kind of think, actually that's a lie, I have no idea what I'm gonna make for lunch, but pantry fully stocked, fridge fully stocked, so you best believe it's gonna be good food. Also, I guess throughout this video, I'm gonna share some of my tips on how to control like intense hunger. I know a lot of people, whenever I talk about it and the fact that my stomach is a different universe, like it's just a big black hole, a lot of you guys in the comments can always relate, and there's things that I've always been like this since I was a child, and it's not necessarily that I need to eat a lot of calories, but I personally just don't feel full unless I eat a lot of bulk. And that's not on a vegan diet, that's on any diet or lifestyle, just any way of eating. I've always been, when I was a child, when I was an athlete, and when I'm just me now, like on camera, you know? But there are things you can do to control that, things you can add to your meals, ways you can build, you know, things that you can add to your meals. The way that I found building meals helps me to feel a lot more satisfied, as in like, always trying to include like good protein, good fats, good carbs, and also just a lot of variety, color, crunch, you know what I mean? And most importantly, it always has to taste good, which you know on this channel, the food's always good. I mean, I may not always be up to scratch, but the food's always good. Anyways, with that being said, breakfast. So first things first, I have made myself an iced latte. I don't care how cold the weather gets here in the UK. Actually, to be honest, it hasn't been that cold recently. But like, I mean, I love myself a hot coffee, but even in the winter, I have to have iced coffee. And the way that I make it is like, I'll leave like, is intricate the right word? I'll leave like a very detailed description down below of how I make the perfect iced latte. I either have one first thing in the morning or mid-afternoon or both. I will say though, I only drink coffee, and I've said this before, because of the flavor, not because of the buzz. I drink decaf coffee. Yeah, the brand I'm obsessed with at the moment, not sponsored at all, is a brand called Little's, and they do different flavors of coffee. They've got like chocolate orange, chocolate caramel, vanilla, and they do some of the flavors in decaf as well. So this morning I used the vanilla decaf, and you just get that beautiful coffee rich flavor without the buzz. I mean, if you want the buzz, go for the buzz, but like I've said before, I already have too much buzz. I don't want more buzz, if you know what I'm saying. It's the taste that I'm after. And also on top of that, I don't even think, whenever I do have like regular coffee, which is like not regularly, I actually don't feel like it gives me energy. I feel like it makes me anxious for 20 minutes and then I just feel tired. So again, I don't drink coffee for energy, I eat good food for energy. One thing I've been doing every couple days, and you guys know I am the laziest when it comes to meal prep, but one thing you can always do is when you're roasting up any kind of starch, I mean, whether you're cooking rice, quinoa, potatoes, sweet potatoes, is just make a big batch, and then you've always got it to throw at your meals. And because my favorite starch, my favorite carb in the world actually, after watermelon, is sweet potato, every couple days I'll just roast up a big tray. Then I've always got a couple of perfectly squishy, because I roast them until they're like really caramelized, sweet potatoes to have for breakfast, lunch, dinner, whenever I need them. So I'm having 3 of these. Oh, they're so squishy, so squishy. You know I live for the squish. Having 3 medium-sized sweet potatoes for breakfast. Why are they a different color? I swear that one's more orange. Actually, I'll tell you why. It's because that one was from an organic batch, and for some reason they're more orange, and these ones are not organic. I mean, I don't care whether they're organic or not, but that's why. Got some fresh rasps, not locally grown anymore, unfortunately. Just can't resist buying them though. Got some frozen bloobs. Love myself some frozen bloobs, especially on hot food, like the contrast between the hot, squishy potatoes, then you get like the icy crunch and a little bit of tartness from the frozen berries. Love it. Now it is my duty as the one and only Nut Butter King to smother this with some good runny and kind of clumpy today almond butter. Almond butter. You can of course use any nut butter that you have lying around. You can use peanut butter, you can use cashew butter, you can also use tahini or sunflower seed butter if you don't do nuts or if you're allergic to nuts. This is one of the things, in fact the main thing, that I find makes my meals a lot more filling and satiating and just keeps me full up and satisfied, is adding a good amount of fat and protein to my meals. And obviously almond butter is a great source of fat and protein, very high in protein for a nut. And to be honest, it's just fucking delicious. So, all right, coming next, we have this thick mix of, this is Koyo, oops, a little bit of a blob. This is Koyo coconut yogurt, which is very thick and creamy. I love it, it's the best coconut yogurt. And yeah, what I did to make this yogurt higher in protein, I added half a scoop of the Madagascan vanilla Vivo Life protein powder. And not only does that make the meal a lot more satisfying, because again, we've bumped up the protein, but it bumps up the flavor as well, because that vanilla flavor. Also going to add a sprinkle of hemp seeds. You guys know I put hemp seeds on absolutely everything. Salads, smoothie bowls, sweet potatoes, everything. I just spent the last 15 minutes trying to make this look Instagrammable. But clearly I failed. Cheers. Sweet potato, berries, and coconut yogurt. Guys, the combination. Best combo ever. Anyways, I'm gonna go apply to face and I'll see you at lunch. Cheers. All right, so I've just chopped up some potatoes. These are like little yellow potatoes, and a block of extra firm tofu, a little bit of salt, pepper, olive oil. Just gonna roast this in a hot oven for about 25 minutes till things are nice and crispy. And then, I don't actually know the next step, but I guess you'll find out in a minute. All right, as per usual, I'm gonna build a big salad, a big colorful salad to go with the tofu and the potatoes. But I don't know if any of you guys, again, not sponsored, look at me just like showing you all the good stuff for free. Especially considering I'm so expensive. This book, if you guys haven't read it, number one, it's not a fully vegan book. It's by the amazing chef, Yotam Ottolenghi is his name. He's an Israeli chef. He has 3 famous books. One's called Plenty, one's called Jerusalem, and this one is called Simple. And whilst it's not a vegan book, the reason I love it is because like 90% of the recipes are plant-based, but the reason I love his books is because it's basically just like a celebration of vegetables, of plant-based foods, of color. The way he flavors things with herbs and spices, it's just like, he's genius, he's really genius. He has this recipe in here, which I've been wanting to try for ages, don't know why I haven't yet. Another reason I love him is because he, as an Israeli, as someone that understands the meaning, the spiritual meaning of tahini, good proper runny tahini. He uses tahini in everything. I just love pouring tahini on everything, just plain, because I love it so much. But he has a dressing in here called green tahini dressing, and basically you blend some good runny tahini with lemon juice, garlic, I think I've got garlic, and parsley, which I love parsley, so I'm gonna try and make this dressing. All right, so we're gonna start with some good, look at that. Look at how pourable that is. Guys, look at that. This is actually a new brand I found in my local Middle Eastern store. I'm gonna put in all the fresh parsley. Lots of fresh parsley. And for once, I'm actually using the stems. And you all know that the stems of parsley, guys, I lose sleep over the stems of parsley. They piss me off. Lots of fresh limone. Some salt, good amount of salt. And you're supposed to use fresh garlic for this, but I am just, guys, I'm just that kind of person. I just always use granulated garlic, so you can use fresh if you want. And a little bit of water to thin, apparently. I never usually do this with my tahini. Let's blend. Oh, that is a, don't know if you can see, but that is a lovely, deep green color. And the flavor is so pungent with parsley. So basically, you're not gonna like this if you don't like parsley. I guess you could use dill. All right, guys, so here are the crispy, look at how crispy they are. The potatoes and tofu, perfectly cooked, for me anyway. I like the tofu with a little bit of crunch. I've also chopped up this big fresh bowl of, I was gonna say veggies. It's actually technically fruit because it's lots of different cherry tomatoes, and a whole large cucumber. Gonna toss the potatoes and the tofu with this little refreshing mix, and then we've got the green sauce for the top. And you all know, you should all know, the camera's wonky but I don't care, that when I eat lunch, another one of my big tips for people that are just always hungry is to eat a lot of fiber, a lot of fibrous veggies, a lot of greens. I would usually always with my lunch, and my dinner sometimes, eat like a lot of romaine lettuce, spinach, kale, maybe some steamed broccoli or green beans. Lots of fibrous greens to kind of bulk up the meal. Today, I don't have any romaine, I don't have any spinach, I don't have any broccoli. I don't know how I went to the shops this morning and forgot to buy romaine, because usually it's like the first thing on my list. But I might have some later if I don't go out for dinner, so. Alrighty, so here's the final result. Oh, guys, this sauce smells so good. Actually gonna spoon it on to make it a little bit, oh, look at that. I also just remembered I have half of a nice creamy avocado. I'm gonna add on top. Avocado. I mean, I forgot to cover it, so it kind of does look brown, but trust me, it's a good one. And guys, despite what I said earlier, I thought I could do it. It turns out I couldn't do it. I went out and bought some romaine so that I can use them as little boats to send this down the chute. I don't know, I feel like everything is more delicious when applied to face on a romaine boat, you know? Cheers. And by now, you should all know what's coming next. Woo! Alrighty guys, today we are reviewing, and yes, I am only reviewing one per video, probably for most videos now, because like I said, I've got to prolong this. I can't give it all to you in one go. Today, we are reviewing something I've been wanting to review for ages, purely because macadamia nuts are my favorite nut of all time. The only reason I don't buy more is because they cost like £500 a bag, literally. Now this brand, I will say, and you probably already know, Carly's, their nut butters are always raw. They're not the best, purely because, number one, I just don't understand nut butters. Why would you want them raw anyway? Purely for flavor, you know what I'm chatting about. But also, their raw nut butters are always, I mean, these jars are very expensive. I think this one was like £6 or £7. Again, because it's Mac nuts. I've criticized their textures quite a lot before because the textures are just very sludgy, like very sludgy, like very, very sludgy. Oh, what? Guys, this is the first Carly's raw nut butter that has been churnable. I'm very, very impressed. I mean, look, it is very thick, but it's not like the kind of sludge that you have to fight with. In we go, some good old cell. Do you know what, guys? I reckon this is actually gonna be bomb. I have a feeling. Cheers. Mate, right, I don't know how that tastes better. You know how macadamia nuts have like a buttery, smooth, creamy, like bland flavor? I mean, you get that sweet, mild, smooth flavor from the Macs. But also on top of that, out of all of the Carly's nut butters that I reviewed so far, I think this is the only one, sorry Carly's, I think this is the only one that I would say it's actually worth the money because it's that good. Anyways, I'll see you at dinner. So for dinner, I went out in Canterbury town where I live with my mum and my big sister, which was a real treat because we barely get to spend time together, just the three of us, you know? And we went out to this Indian restaurant called the Ambret, which isn't a vegan place, but they do have a new vegan menu, which we obviously wanted to check out. I don't know about you guys, but I love myself a good Indian, and I hadn't had one in ages. They brought us out these complimentary starters before our actual starters, and I have no idea what they were, to be honest, but it was bomb. And when I say bomb, I mean that the heat from the spices almost blew my head off, but it was still very tasty. For our actual starters, we had some onion bhajis, which were so crispy and delicious, could have eaten 20 of them. Some chickpea flour dumplings, this pancake potato dosa thing, which was super tasty, and also these little shots of spiced carrot soup. For mains, I had these pancake wraps, which were filled with vegan cheese, quinoa, lots of different veggies, and to be honest, I have no idea what else was in there. And I was quite confused, but all I know is that it was bloody tasty. I also love that this place actually gives you decent sized portions, which is hard to come by these days. Overall, the food was 7 out of 10. The only reason I didn't rank it higher is because it was way too hot for me, spice-wise. I'm a lightweight when it comes to heat, but clearly I enjoyed it as I literally licked the plate clean. Anyways guys, as always, I'm sending you all so much love, and I'll see you on the next video. Laters.